Hey, how's it going, everyone? It is Drago, and we're back with another chapter of Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest, chapter 169, Linked by Water. And the cover page for this chapter has Natsu and Happy on it, and they're in, honestly, quite a different art style. Honestly, if you watch My Hero Academia, particularly Season 7 right now, the way that they have, like, their eyes, it kind of reminds me of Deku and Gear Shift. The art style is so different for Natsu and Happy. I almost wonder if this was a different artist doing the cover for this chapter, but it doesn't say it, so who knows. This is honestly such a weird art style for them that I don't know if I entirely love it myself. So we pick up this chapter with the image of Aquarius's key and Lucy and Brandish both staring down at it. Which, very interesting that Maricophobia knows Aquarius is key because he literally says Aquarius. And both of them are pretty surprised that he knows Aquarius, which he literally says that he governs water, so it's not really a shock that he knows of Aquarius. And literally in that moment, Aquarius's key starts to glow and she's summoned once again. And honestly, I love the look of joy on both Lucy and Brandish's face when Aquarius appears, and they're just so delighted to see her once again. And Aquarius wastes zero time whatsoever of getting back to old habits, with her lecturing Lucy, asking her why she took so long, and then asking Brandish to bark like a dog. And honestly, she seems really happy to see Maricophobia. Like, she's genuinely smiling seeing him. And even he's like, oh, you're still as bolsterous as ever. It's kind of interesting that those two seem to have a dynamic already. I love that Lucy and Brandish are both like got this like surprise Pikachu face, like they know each other. And honestly, it does kind of make sense that, you know, celestial spirits would know some of these people because they've been around for theoretically ever. And they've probably ran into quite a few notable people throughout the years. And since he was around like 400 years ago, who knows who had Aquarius's key back then, and did they run into a dragon god? So we cut over to Natsu fighting the dragonized version of Brian, and I kind of love this page with Natsu saying to Brian that, like, you turning into a dragonized version of yourself, that was the worst mistake you could have made. You're fighting a dragon slayer, like, you just made it a million times more easy for me to take you down. This is such a fun callback because you get Happy talking about like the aspects of dragon slayers, like very, very similar to what he said in the very first episode of Fairy Tail, or the first chapter of Fairy Tail, about the dragon lungs, their scales, their claws. All these are like the hallmarks of a dragon slayer. He even does it with like the same exact expression he did in the very first episode. It's so dang cool to get that once again. I love that Natsu is the one to like finish this. He's like, that's what Dragon Slayer magic is. He does a pretty big attack, and is this one brand new? I'm pretty sure this is a brand new attack for Natsu, doing Purgatory slashing Dragon Fire. Initially, it does seem like he actually knocked out Brian, but he gets back up and has honestly like a Joker smile on his face. And he just straight up bites Natsu's arms, which that is quite the panel. That does not look pleasant in the slightest. That looks like it's going to be very painful, Natsu. Which it doesn't really deter Natsu whatsoever because he just lights his fists on fire. And he's like, I'm going to defeat you, I'm going to defeat Ignia, and I'm going to defeat this 100-year quest. And honestly, it looks like Natsu's doing a Fire Dragon Wing attack, and that just straight up knocks out all of Brian's teeth, and he just looks like he's defeated, but like he's still up and ready to go. But dang, man, he knocked out all that dude's teeth. And Natsu does seem pretty surprised by Brian's stamina, that he's still up and ready to fight, even though he just like blew all his teeth out. Which is where he ends up getting back up from Misfortune, and Happy's having an absolute blast that Misfortune's back on the scene. I love that they asked her if she got turned into a dragon too, and she's like, oh yeah, I totally did. And she's like showing off to them, like, look at my awesome dragon body. And Happy is the one that has to break the bad news to her that like she looks exactly the same and probably nothing happened to her at all. But I like that Happy has to go over immediately and just go cheer her up by saying, yeah, I think you're cute just the way you are. So you end up getting Happy versus Misfortune because she goes to attack him right after that, which has you immediately go back over to Natsu and Brian's fight. which I would love to know, like, what is the roar attack that he's doing right here, because it doesn't have a name, and like what element dragon is he? Whatever that roar attack is, it causes all these like mini explosions, kind of almost jackal-esque explosions. And Brian is so full of himself, he's like, this power is freaking awesome, man. I'm gonna destroy you. And Natsu just straight up had enough. He just pounds him into the ground, breaking even more teeth. And honestly, I think this is one of the most savage lines that Natsu's had, like when he's defeated an opponent, to where apparently because he's still screaming because he slammed him to the ground, and Natsu's like, good, you can still talk. You could probably tell me where Ignia is. And with that, it is the end of our chapter. So my thoughts. And once again, it got prolonged to that we don't get to know what's gonna happen with the Aquarius situation. And honestly, now that her key form is no longer there and she's, fully summoned, is she gonna like pick her owner now, or like make a new contract with like both Lucy and Brandish? Is this gonna go to like Maricophobia now? Like what is gonna go on here now? I think now that Aquarius is fully summoned, it does change the dynamic, because it probably would have just been Lucy and Brandish fighting before, but like now that she's talking with them, it is going to completely change this dynamic, I think, at least. Very interesting that she seems very, very friendly with Maricophobia already, and obviously implying that they have met in the past before. What was their relation? Who knows? Natsu versus Brian. I mean, I pretty much figured Natsu was going to beat Brian, no problemo. I think the stuff with Misfortune and Halfbeat is super cute. I just think their dynamic is very cute together. Just don't let Carla know about what's going on. I would have loved to get the resolution to the whole Aquarius subplot, because that has been going on for literal years now, and I would love a resolution to it. Otherwise, I think the rest of the chapter was pretty okay. So what are your guys' thoughts? Leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and this is Drago, signing out.